Weird, I have like millions of open things on
Okay.
So, good evening, everybody. We will begin with opening prayers on page 5 of the prayer book. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
Sanje Jodan Zoje Jonan Lai Chanjo Barada Dane Josen Jen Ge Jen Zoi Jen Be Zonan Jen Dola Penje Sanje
Sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Ma nam ga dam nyam be sam jen dam je de wa dam de le ju dan dem bar ju je dong ar dang dong ar ge ju dan je wa ju je dong ar me be
And then page 16. Or should we do mandala?
Yeah, 60 is okay.
Okay, 16. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Semje namje zamba dan loye jedai jedawa kejon demo tebaye choje kolo bodu
Zong je dam je jing o re dan jing gur jam zo cham da ga rin zong me do je dan yin kam zong je je jar shap je ben mo dharma me balang go rab de de go zong gu ba yin bo go ne ja da yin jam zong je o yin je la bar je do so bar den za la maram bo che ta ge chi bur pe me den shu la ka ri chim bo go ne je song Kuzun Togjing Odo Zardo So Tene Andangatso level true part son simbare ne ta level jiba part she agi korla sungyore tendu he se ati ha ko goyag ten do goya ki ne tele shigore tene andikapsa Sandamana, young daughter, Chuji Ying, Sandao. They were shipping Yingbo, Senare, Changchub Jisem, Sena. That Mombo Hiena, Sam Momboy, Ina, and the cups of Abatandi, Pechandi Nando, then he dever shipping Yingbo, wrong Simni dever shipping Yingbo Tella, Changchub Sam, some ting on the Mandupi Chujang, Yomares. Shariang ting on the Shariang Gorilla, Turiang ting on the Trondogore, Tene, Shar Devi Caps young, Chutam and Changchub Samle, Yomares, Tate, Tikovat Leviate, the kitchen bores, Carisana.
So, Chuva, sure. Chuva, Shargyuri.
Changchuk Semne, Chutamchi, Shargyuri, Serva, and Shar Debine come now, and Changchuk Semle, Yomare, Changchuk Semle, Chilos, Chubik Chukan Yomares, that is so. Then Kovat Livia Kitchen Mores, Carisana. So Sangji say at here Momboyore. Then it took Barimbagu, he simbari teacups around also can do solid nanny. Sanji say at Trobiayo ba, Tayam, Gomda, Zurvala, Tanny Tropkova, some Shawatang, Sanji say at Ye Dumani round you the Trop Deva, Gomdo Zurvala Matuba, Rom up to Yoshina, and Sanji say at Zurvala Matemba, Rangichi, Drop Deva Imba. At that, and they hit to Momboy, the Hindu. Sanji Tam, Sanji say at Rangula, Trop Deva. Te ngoshi goba, te kovaina, te neon chu drop tante, tang samnogin chirso te bashi churte, kaka yongro.
So we have completed the 6th chapter. And as was mentioned already, that the first through the 8 chapters are really pertaining to the ground. So understanding the nature of the ground, and in order to realize, understanding, how to realize that meaning. And so with regard to the ground, there are all these different names or labels that are used to describe it. So, for instance, Chuying, or the expanse of phenomena, or here it's translated as the basic space of phenomena, or if we refer to it as the Tathagata Garbha, the Buddha nature. But here, mostly in this book, it is referred to as the awakened mind, or that's the translation. The word in Tibetan is Jangchu Gisim, which is also bodhicitta, the mind of awakening, but here translated as the awakened mind. So there are many different names or words that are used to describe it. And in this text, primarily, so the awakened mind, which is the Tathagata Garbha of, the true essence of one's own awareness, one's own mind. So it is saying up to this point, it's been explaining how there is nothing that is not contained within the ground, that all phenomena, it shines forth from the ground, as it shines forth from the ground, it never wavers from the ground. It never wavers from the awakened mind. Even though there is manifestation, there is never any wavering. So it's not as though the manifestation occurs somewhere outside, that there's some like external process that goes on, that actually all the manifestation occurs while never wavering from the awakened mind itself. And so to understand that is very important, because, when we speak of enlightenment or Buddhahood, and there's all of this talk of Buddhahood, but the process that leads to Buddhahood, and we went through in the session preceding this one, we went through the 9 vehicles, the progressive stages of the 9 vehicles. And yet those progressive stages of the 9 vehicles are all there, or is a process which occurs, within oneself, again, that never wavers from the ground. And so actually, to achieve awakening or to become enlightened or reach the state of Buddhahood isn't actually something that is accomplished through effort, through meditation, through effort. It is already primordially established. And so it is actually a matter of resting into, dropping into that essence which is already primordially perfected, that is already spontaneously established, spontaneously present, spontaneously accomplished from within the ground. And so the enlightenment is actually already accomplished, but it is a matter of recognizing it. And so this is actually what we are putting our faith in. This is the object of faith or reliance or trust in that already perfected nature.
다 작자 전부도 조과 전부 된지 값 승모 따 승모 희 네네 안도나 똑빅 따 투지 현 초서야 똑빅 따 초서 똑와서야 되게 따 초도 그랬어 딱스나 individual wrong 초도 그랬어 and wrong choice on na sanji ki kompon tom ne ti tu gele tane hian panto ne chorto batene yong gore te indu ta sanji ki yoden de rong jule ye no man ne chob de ba tele yi che wa na de ne chu to bya te le lar ndo gore te ma to te ne sonji sa ya je sarvach drop ko ya so ko ya tenri cha songwaina tenri mendoba mar dongkhen yor yena tene ta zarwachik sarz ngar meba songji zarwachik sokodi tene nga zun don senyi tikbi kapsi yena karchen chome som so sa kure sayata te so tanderwa yore te indu rangsam ye domani songji yinba ha kwaya tala chu domkhen gom jamkhen yena 펜도 첨보유지레스.
랑 루바 임방오시나 어디나서.
곰잡이한테 레라오. 곰잡나요. 근데 펜도 첨보. 되게 용그레스. 롱섬 성지 임바 코네 곰잡나. 그죠?
So as that is the case, so in the context of Mahamudra or Dzogchen, we talk about like recognizing the mind or looking at ngo like face, looking at your own face, lap kokorobe, or semgo, semgo ta.
Simgo das. Ngo nature ngo the ngo le konanding.
Okay.
Ngo se you.
So looking at the essence of your own mind, recognizing the true nature of the mind. And so through realization, then oneself, through that recognition, then realization occurs, and there is, liberation. So like for oneself. And then once there is that realization or liberation for oneself, then through the compassionate activity of Buddhahood, then the benefit of others is achieved. So then there is the compassionate activity that manifests to liberate others. And the qualities of Buddhahood being primordially established or primordially present means that it is actually so much easier to achieve than, say, if we are having to create something new that wasn't there before, to actually sort of like as if we have to develop the qualities of Buddhahood as something that didn't exist prior, that we have to build, but because it's a case that there isn't anything that is not subsumed within the innate nature, all of those perfected qualities already being there, there isn't anything other outside of oneself or additional that needs to be added or new that has to be created. And so this differs from, for instance, the Sutrayana, which from that perspective, it takes 3 limitless kalpas to manifest awakening, to achieve awakening. But if the Buddha is already primordially established, primordially present, then if it is just a matter of recognizing or seeing what is already there, then to meditate, the process of meditation on that essence is much easier. There is great benefit in this approach of recognition. So one has to understand that one's own mind is Buddha.
Tening gurun boshegi zongdo. Chuji tsawa machu, semji tsawa chu, semji tsawa chu na jikhi kundur.
Chuji tsawa machu.
Machu chu serna yor, tachi damanda chu yorwa. Chuji tsawa machu, semji tsawa chu, imperative form. Semji tsawa chu na jikhi kundur yours, jikhi semji tsawa chu tsawa ina tene. Jikshina, and a tamchi short over so. Mato chuji tava jena tene, Mato Pobelusula, Kunshi chikdux yorwa, Tamchi shi devala,
Kunshi chiktu,
Kunshi chikdok, Tamchi hako devi sonra ojila, Tunda lepsala, Mone lepodu, Tene kayang, Chimatu devan. Kunshi jikdoks. Tamchi shidingela, tunda lipsangoma dodo telebdutene. Nyamna chiya inare, tene hakoya inare, somal tamachu devisonre, chanrogdo.
So tamchi te kongta de nipa de dampo de koso. Yeni yang tenda kun she ken she yona dene gayang hama go wada whatever.
Tamchi hako devison rauchi. Seems to. But when it comes to the point, then even cannot resolve one thing.
Okay.
Anything. Anything could be, yeah. In English, it's a little bit different.
So Guru Rinpoche says don't cut through the root of phenomena. So this is referring to objects. Instead, cut through the root of mind. If you cut the root through the root of mind, then everything is liberated through knowing one thing. So it is. So here, it is through this single understanding that all is liberated. But on the other hand, it is said also in Tibetan that, like, if everything is known, in other words, somebody who claims to know everything, but still actually can't resolve like a single point. So if actually there's focus on maybe the multiplicity or everything, then nothing really is understood, kind of, or that most crucial point is not necessarily understood.
Okay, that's what I can share now. And now we read text a little bit fast, and maybe we read page by page now, as there's not much structure in here. It's more, everything arises from bodhicitta, but dissolve into bodhicitta naturally, and even arising from there, nothing is wave or stray from the bodhicitta. That's the whole idea. Even we think we are in a samsara, but we are
Actually just
kicking and screaming in the Dharmakaya. So that's why we cannot really come out from there, because we're stuck in there. Fortunately, unfortunately, we think we are stuck in a samsara, but we are really stuck in a dharmata, Buddha nature. Okay. Now we are in chapter 7, which is also talk about everything is timelessly and spontaneously present within a waking mind. So it's similar if you want to check that. And each end of each chapter has this sort of chapter title or explanation of what this chapter is. And then if you have more time, if you can read commentary, and there's extra informations in there, not necessarily go through word by word commentary, but it has more citations or quotations from another source, or tantras and so forth. Okay. Shidare jare zemo chimba na mavelong na tu jing tong wa de longe zemo rong yin tong dong zha te xin ya de dor jian ying bo ne te bi yong zi dong gu zar wa ran dong wong mi te bi de dong tong wa mi te jie lan zhe zemo ro jir wei zhe shidare yi nur bo qian bo la sor wa dam nan do gong gen jung parve ngo la te dra ma yi no dor jie nying bo ko san lun zho bi rang yang yin li san jie rong la zhor xing zhe mi jie wa te ni do Om mi te be long doram be ji jiang karwa me zho ce ji ne de ye ne lun yang ru ba xiang jiu san xi xin rong wai chun yi yong ba ne rong yi jiu gu nyam yin do me long
transmission of awakened mind, spontaneously present by nature, is the summit of the most majestic mountain, not created, yet ensuring all that has ultimate meaning. Exalted above all, it is the supreme and most majestic spiritual approach. Once one has reached the summit of a majestic mountain, one can see the valleys below all at once, while from the valleys one cannot see what it is like at the summit. Similarly, Ati, the Vajra heart essence, is the pinnacle spiritual approach and sees what is meaningful in all others, while the lower approaches cannot see its ultimate meaning. Therefore, it is the pinnacle, the peak experience which is spontaneously present. It is like a great wish-fulfilling gem that, if prayed to, ensures all that is wished for as a matter of course. Such is not the case for ordinary things. Since the Vajra heart essence is the most spontaneous presence of the three kayas, Buddhahood is ensured in and of itself within the basic space of natural rest. It does not require effort or achievement. That is its spirit superiority. Although those in lower approaches strive through acceptance and rejection, they accomplish nothing for eons. What a great debility! Awakened mind, timelessly spontaneous and uniform awareness, the spacious nature of phenomena, just as it is, the naturally settled state, is Dharmakaya by nature, the expanse of primordial equalness.
Tene dingonge lewatin kashinala shangchup jisem sayate yen lunji trobdeba tang kurwata nyangelen debi chuiningate tene sharyongwa
Changchup sem yene thundrupadang.
ene kurwata nyangelen debi chu tamchi tene sharyongwa imba zongzong ta ti ten sigi chute ene ad dzogchen segores ad dorjinim boam ad yoga tene long tamchi ji da zemoam jerbo tau pena richembuchik zele lepsawena tene marte vaina masagi satusun tongres yena masagi satigi yar rizet tongtog mares tenrao da ad dzogchengam dige chuingzog pechande sigbayina tene nyantu ranger hyongjo shajujuju nanjurju tene maana adela sopa tikbarimba gugi chutam chede tene hako tongto togres yena tene tana mahada anute sogeyo adi yogi tengomate toto mares tong mares
So before this, in the chapters, the few chapters that precede this, so we have established that all is spontaneously perfected, or spontaneously accomplished, spontaneously present within the awakened mind, and all the phenomena of samsara and nirvana arise from the awakened mind, or from this grounded self. And that which, the Dharma which illustrates that, or indicates that, or shows this, is Ati Dzogchen, or Ati Yoga. which is like the pinnacle, of all approaches. It's a very peak, the king of views. So here it's likened to like the tallest of mountain peaks. When you're standing from that point of the highest peak, then everything becomes visible. You can see all the lower mountain peaks and valleys below. However, from a valley or from a low-lying elevation, you cannot see the all that comes above. So all of the details of the different mountain peaks and so forth from below. And so this text, the Chuyingzo, is contains all of it, the entirety of the 9 vehicles, from the 3 Sutrayana vehicles of Shravaka, Pratyeka, Buddha, Bodhisattva, the levels of Tantra, Kriya, Charya, and Yoga, and Maha, Anu, and Ati. And so from the perspective of Ati, all of the other vehicles below are contained within that. The meaning is seen, the meaning is understood, and the perfection of them all is perfectly seen. But from those lower vehicles, the meaning of Ati Yoga cannot be seen.
다 가르치는 통고요 말에서는 오미 특비기 ndon 통화메서 다 오미 특비기인데 디트는데 가르치는 통고요 말에서는 가르치는 오미 특바 담제데 이주 특바 임바당 상지 접야태요 쪼르와당 접바당 기비거네 접고 발 가르치는 상지세 사르도 접고 그러와 tindu tu jujian la tan chob go ro tu jujian la tan ber hiba ju dan jian zun zo ju da jian zo ber hiba la rong ge ten zun ju xian ne ju jian ta sun zun ba che go gre ma to yong ma ro tan di song ji ye ne rang la chob de ba te yin ba la te la da gab gab su ma so sa li ya me ba sa par sar ju me to so xiak ju me ba sarjam이 비게 뭐부터 거기 하고 시고 그래요 마도 믹시 좁아도 좁아치네 는 주진께서 아트 준토고요 말에 대인도 저럽 준rel인데 비추서 되게.
So why is it that it can't be seen from the lower vehicles, that this pinnacle of views, or this ultimate, most supreme meaning can't be seen from below? It's because in these lower methods or lower vehicles, enlightenment is achieved through effort. It is dependent upon causes and conditions. So it is accomplished through the coming together of the necessary or appropriate causes and conditions. And so in gathering those causes and conditions and applying diligence and making effort, then there is something that is accomplished or achieved. Whereas from the perspective of the pinnacle of views, there isn't anything to make clearer, there isn't anything to add, there isn't anything to subtract, or to take away. It is just a matter of knowing or understanding the essence. So apart from recognizing what is already there, there isn't any effort at all that is needed. There isn't it isn't dependent upon, like causes and conditions. It isn't accomplished through causes and conditions.
Next page. Kunlayo de Kardengaye yo Shin Shana Nandre Pabjiro Chaptararan Sara Lundu Longju Zo Kunlayo Jan Tongaye yo Kanon Ya Shazur Chanaingo Mangaru Vadur Kodare Long Kunlayo Den Charve Tunasa Yiyo Den Chile Chuncho Yang Xiana Mi De Rong Re Tao Bi Long Chudong Nyo Jin Rong Dong Xiana Sa Charve Me Ni Dune Tao Bi Chu Sangji Xiong Chou Rong Yong Long Na Sa Nga Zhe Xin Be Ta Su Zhe Me Gu Che Wa Rong Ni Gong Ba Chu Ni To Men Jo Lun Ji Zhou La Zor Me Ji Ye Ye Va Ye Ye Xiang Chun Ning Bu Xi Rang Yin Gong Li Yu Bang Ga Me Be Long Sa Ri Bi Dong Li Ma Yu Xi Tam Ji Jia Bi Ndu Bi Jun Zhen Yang Men Jur Gun Ru Chab Da Yi Xi Nga. There's much more. Gung A Song A Tong A Yo Den A Chen Ling A De Dang Bo Song Ji Jung A Tong Ta Mi Bi Long De Lun Ru Bi Xian De Ma To Rong Yi Ye Ni Zhe. I hesitate to hear because one of my friend or student make a fanatic for chewing, so maybe tomorrow we can read together, could be.
Why do
But
you hesitate to share?
What?
Why do you hesitate to share?
These days is a little bit different. Usually, chu dang mi ning ru su qi, right?
Oh, okay. Chu dang me.
Ning ru su qi. But these days, every sentence, every dharma has ownership, controlled by someone. And dharma is not shareable these days, terribly. But good old days, copy dharma text to giving others is accumulating merit. But these days they say, without their permission, even cannot
Distribute.
record these things. Yeah.
So the line that he quoted was what actually he said earlier this evening, which is, nobody owns the Dharma. Whoever, perseveres or dedicates themselves sincerely to it becomes an owner of it.
So these days, what we have?
Copyrights, yeah.
Copyrights, yeah. But I think in our circle, maybe we can chant together if you want. English fanatic. They go Tibetan? Not English fanatic.
It's the transliteration, so meaning that if you can't read the Tibetan, you can read the English words that give the pronunciation of the Tibetan, the English letters.
Yeah, then you will notice that also include these translations, so that part is not a problem, but not only Tibetan has no problem, but it's included this translation in that text. So we see. So now I think it's more, if this text is chantable and also readable and also can take as practice, yeah, practical menu. Okay, so it's almost many sort of repetitions that saying in a different angles to make sense to us. Then,
Do we want to read it in English?
oh, haven't read? Yeah. Okay, yeah, please, yeah. Read until the next page that has these all the 5, 5, 5, 5s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 57 first.
257.
First paragraph,
Okay.
yeah.
So, but beginning on 55, right?
Yeah.
The start, yeah. It is present in everyone, but within the reach of only a fortunate few. If left just as it is innately ensured within that context. Sambhogakaya, infinitely pervasive, naturally lucid, and spontaneously present, is present in everyone, but the perception of it is within the reach of only a few. If you rest naturally within whatever manifests, without conscious striving, it is evident. The continuous display is the infinite expanse of Nirmanakaya. It is present in everything, clear in the arising of things. It is the pure expanse of self-knowing awareness, the miraculous display of wish-fulfilling qualities and activities. Moreover, it is nowhere else. Like turbid water, when the sediment settles, it becomes clear if you rest in the naturally pristine state. The truth of primordial purity is not found by being sought. Enlightenment, Buddhahood, is evident within the naturally occurring expanse. Since it has already been accomplished, there is no need to achieve it anew. This naturally abiding greatness is enlightened intent, the expanse that is the true nature of phenomena. Make no effort concerning what is unchanging and spontaneously present. The timeless ground, the innately abiding ground, is the ground that is at the very heart of enlightenment. Since it does not stray at all from the context that is its nature, do not stray from the lucid expanse that is the ultimate meaning of awareness. The reason that everything is ensured by being left as it is lies in the unchanging, ever-present state of sovereign mastery, the 5 aspects of timeless awareness. I think that's actually where it's the Tibetan stops, right? The next one, okay.
Next, first paragraph. These are all 5s.
Right. Oh, okay. The state of original Buddhahood, the 5 aspects, each of enlightened form, enlightened speech, enlightened mind, enlightened qualities, and enlightened activity, is spontaneously present within the beginningless and endless expanse. Do not seek it elsewhere, for by nature it is timelessly ensured.
I think now it's quite clear that the purpose of this teaching is showing that Buddha is already present in our innate nature and something that not we can create or we can achieve from outside. That teletene and sanji rang la yu sidu sanji sirdu kyong gunse yoden gundan sakurwa tindu so that tida sanji lunji trobate yobayina tanga zoge tel sokchu jabayina tene yar tong togu marwa ko sonji se 종근지 여든 근데 차서도 뒤토도 맞추기 전에 지 속주자바이나 도른 줘야 맞아 야른 줘야 매 이메리 대인도 근데 근데 조접당 소추 맞아스 대인도 롱 희야도 키친 버리
Ini kongta. DJ la kare sumni. De duru doya mato yaru dogo mare sum DJ la.
다 산지 무슨 맞소기 줄이 요바이나 텔로 소추자바이나 되는 맞소기 소추자베한테 도르라야 마도 야른라야 말했어 근데 전에 소추 마야 맞잡사야 그다 된다 들어가
So, if Buddhahood is already present within or as one's true essence, so if Buddhahood is within oneself, then all of the faults are exhausted, and it is endowed with all of the qualities, the enlightened qualities. And so as that is the case, then Buddhahood being spontaneously present, spontaneously accomplished, there's nothing to fix. It can't get any better by fixing anything. Actually, it can only get worse. If there is an effort to fix, then it's only going to get worse. It can't get better. And so, because direct or true, authentic Buddhahood is already present as the essence, of the mind itself, there's nothing to alter. There's nothing to fix. So this is what is meant by just leaving it alone, resting in what is already primordially perfected.
If you are here, bend.
So there's the example on page 55 of turbid water.
추동 뇽희롱동 향나서 추라 뇽마스나 추 마당바지 추당 추 마당바지나 대 랑시 샤샤와이나 저는 추기 뇽마트 랑시 당으로 그랬어. 대마도 이제 랑시 당고선에 대쪽쪽 동와이나 되네 뇽마트 추인 레네 추도 뇽마장으로 그러와. 대신도 하나 곰잡네 쫄바침 보체야다. 된대게 랑게 생경어를 파 뎀으로 마도 생경어 촌 동야래 펜토요 말했어.
So this is really a perfect example because, so as it says, like turbid water, when the sediment settles, it becomes clear if you rest in the naturally pristine state. So if, like water that is stirred up or turbid, if you set that water on a surface and just let it be, it will naturally become clear. The sediment will settle and the clear, pure water will become visible. But if you try to make it clear by getting involved with it, by like stirring it or trying to separate the sediment, you'll just stir it up more. It will just become more turbid. And so in the same way, if you try to clarify the mind, through making effort, for instance, in meditation, this only further obscures the essence. It doesn't cause the natural clarity of mind to present itself. So the only way for the natural clarity to present itself is by completely letting it be, letting go and simply resting.
네, 다 책들이 힘든 것이 맞잖아. 릭사래 가르스나 지르송 무거워야 텐데 침범문도 지르송기 단다 중인족에 시서야 돼 가르임 바탕 텔라 따위 간듯이 따고와 대하 고바이나 되네 다 책도서 되네 고야 레라운다 유사리 대인도 책을 안더바 맞아 되네 갈시 지완도나 마고바 되네 누나 되네 양철 맞죠 저와도 랜치네 개잘랍쳐버려서
So we don't have to go through and explain like every line of the text, because in the Chuingzo, really, if you understand first these basic principles like what is the ground, what is the view, so if that's understood, then it is pretty self-evident, what is meant with the words. So in reading the words, the understanding will naturally arise without having to explain like every single word. But if there are parts that you don't understand, then those of course can be clarified, through asking questions or having, question and answer.
Now we can read the rest of this chapter together, all the way to the end. Sonje gunje chuko shangcho jong manjo nyam be tun le xian de me te yong rong yong mong de lun do be ma zor ma zho re do lun ji xiao. Sem jing gun ye rang jung yi xie jiang ma yi ma za ra chu ke lun zhe be pang lang man zi chung yin gong de rei xiao me yo me san lu nyang o la ma yi tong zhe xie long yong ba yin men jiao gen zhe ge tang yi xie da Jarda jelo rong yang chen bo wang nong si no ju ye ne lun zho pe xia zo me gu rong yi lun ye zho tam je gun zho lun zho chen bo ji chu yin rin bo jin zu le tam ji xiong chup sam su ye ne lun ji zho per den be Leo de Dimbao, this chapter title here is not versified, so we cannot understand.
So we can read from the second verse on page 57. Moreover, enlightenment, Dharmakaya, as experienced by all Buddhas, is none other than the ultimate meaning of unchanging equalness. And since it is spontaneously present within that naturally occurring context, do not seek it, do not try to achieve it, completely let go of hope and fear. Even the naturally occurring timeless awareness of all ordinary beings is unmade and unsought, and spontaneously present as Dharmakaya. So do not react with rejection or acceptance, but rest in this context of basic space. Within the essence of being, spontaneous and uniform, unwavering and beyond deliberation, lies the spacious expanse of the ground of being, not created, yet ensuring all that has ultimate meaning, unchanging and ever-present. The embodiment of the kayas and timeless awareness is the conferral of the supreme naturally occurring empowerment, like the investiture of a royal heir. Since the universe of appearances and possibilities is timelessly and spontaneously present, there is no need for concerted effort, for it is spontaneously present by nature. Everything is ensured, unfolding as a supreme state of spontaneous presence. This is the seventh section of the precious treasury of the basic space of phenomena, demonstrating that everything is timelessly and spontaneously present within awakened mind.
Dindua, Dandeji. 75, even.
So even naturally occurring timeless awareness of all ordinary beings is unmade and unsought and spontaneously present as Dharmakaya. And
Then there, Tenda Chembo. Here, Harrisona Mayi Matsal said, Sheba Dang Zalva Yina. Dujik Chu Chandra. Dushi Chu said, Takwa Demba Meba, Metabiron Yimba, Tendrijimber. Then the Simchen Gunji Ranjung Yishi Jiang, so that Simchen Tampil Ronoso Suzu Suina, then Butoma and Chiletan, Duna Ranjungi Yishit, Yoris. Did I Ranjung Yishit? Sujig Su Shawadang, Sujig Zal Shawatan Mari Ronosola, you devare, te Chuji Kuyimbata, Yen the Lungi of Deva, Hindu, Tene a Palang Gag drop, Mashi Bar, Chuji Yingjing on, Native with a shock set, neighbor cheese.
so this is a really important point here. This verse is very important because, as it says, it is unmade and unsought. And so if something is made or something is created or sought after, then that means it is the nature of the compounded. It's compounded phenomena or conditioned phenomena. And so if it is compounded or conditioned, that means it is subject to impermanence. It's the nature of impermanence. But this uncompounded nature, unconditioned nature that is unsought and unmade is spontaneously present as Dharmakaya as the very essence of all sentient beings. So all sentient beings, whoever they are, even like tiny insects and ants, have this primordial essence as their basic nature, as the spontaneously arisen primordial awareness. And so no one has to look for it or create it, as it says, so do not react with rejection or acceptance, but rest in this context of basic space.
Tene Yangcho Yarjin, page 5, and then the truth of primordials.
55? Okay.
Then it's that.
And so then on page 55, it also says, the truth of primordial purity is not found by being sought. So Dichikpo or Chatsanglo?
Which one?
Just the first line.
On the paragraph.
The whole paragraph? The truth of primordial purity is not found by being sought. Enlightenment, Buddhahood, is evident within the naturally occurring expanse. Since it has already been accomplished, there is no need to achieve it anew. This naturally abiding greatness is enlightened intent, the expanse that is the true nature of phenomena. Make no effort concerning what is unchanging and spontaneously present.
That's all another drop, Simbi Tazu drop, since it has already been accomplished or already present in our system, Tazu drop, Yangchur drop Gokumaris, Yangchur Dravayana. Zodrup Tankivi Chu Indu, Tene, Duji Chu Chandra, the Indu. That drove the Drobiki wrong Simni term Toby, Jim Center, Teres.
And so since it's already present, spontaneously accomplished. It's already been accomplished. There's no need to find it again or to achieve it anew. If there is some effort to achieve or to find, then it becomes the nature of the compounded or conditioned, and therefore only obscures the true nature of the mind.
Tige ta lewu dumba te sombare tene ta lewu jiba te dijir lewu jiba te yon ta dong shigi korla radio re ta ti jiba ma te mu la chwan de na nga so te sa je kodurchi tene lewu jiba lona.
So now we've completed the 7th chapter, and then the 8th chapter,
Jiba te ta dong shigi
so the 8th chapter is still concerning the ground, the nature of the ground. But before we go on to the 8th chapter, if there are any questions that anyone has, if we want to have some discussion or questions, we can address those before going on to the 8th. Any questions? Any questions? Anyone? Anyone? Sandra has a question before. Oh. Do you have the chat? Yeah, but I just thought I would let you do it if you want. But either way, because I don't know.
No, I can read it.
Okay.
So, bear with me, I've got it's early.
I do see one here. That's okay.
So-
I can. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
The view of perfected nature is in contrast to the idea of a seed of Buddha nature that needs to ripen, ? This view seems to accord with the idea that due to non-duality, why are we not enlightened when the Buddhas are ? Here it says, because we have to realize this enlightened, perfect nature. Please comment and clarify.
Yeah. Buddha nature is depend on whether Buddha nature treat us as seed or treat us a fully awakened Buddha. When we say seed, it usually in a Tibetan we call Sanjiji Nyingbo. The Nyingbo is more essence rather than nature.
The essence of Buddhahood.
Tene pukila Sanjiji Nyingbo sarwa. Yina ta inchikili jurzu Buddha natures jorshadu ta tikson mutsomi te pechu tangche ne injimini tele jurchu tangona tong tobya.
So we.
Sarwa.
So the word in Tibetan is actually like the heart of Buddhahood or the essence of Buddhahood. But we just, it's become such a common term to just say Buddha nature.
Tene ta chuluk senanda ngaso jagari nare poi nare jana nare nambik nangla sanji jiningbo lan dershi jamken mombo yorela dershi yon jabya tomat chikpa mare steindu kap sanji sabon re sendo kap sanji rang re se ta dige zobate ngamane yongde gores.
Kaukab Sanjayurang. And so actually there's so much variation and how, this is explained, this essence of Buddhahood or the Buddha nature, across different traditions, also from in different cultures throughout India, China, and Tibet, where, for sometimes it's explained as being like a seed or a potential. Sometimes it is explained or defined as being the fully manifest qualities of Buddhahood.
Tene la nga tso nyingma da ka ju gi choge Buddha nature sriyate da sanji ji nyingbo sayate sanji rong la sha ne tene de ri bi nyingbo sayate kyu ma go ba ti to le yo dan ya la ne ma go be dona sanji rong le yo ba te 샤지 시거래 대인도 사원 잠지 말이스 더 롱기 뭐색 말에 롱기 샘게 랑지 차대 그래서
But in the Nyingma and Kagyu traditions, it is explained as being like what the term itself really says, which is the essence of Buddhahood, and that all of the perfected qualities are present within the Buddha nature. There's nothing that has to be altered. It isn't something that is like changed or fabricated in any way that the Buddhahood is already present, as the basic essence. And so in that case, from that perspective, it isn't a seed. It's the essence. It's one's own true essence. The true nature of the mind is Buddhahood, is the awakened nature.
tene da zoba chekyute sanji ngoyena korwalan chamboya jumsanjere nga choge 마시 야기 좀 생기르세요. 다티 저와데 단다 주반한 시리. 근데 대버식 민님부터 산지 모이나 나저 가르치는 거야. 참바레스라. 나저 가르치네. 하나 랑중고 미시브레스네. 디게 저와데 레고요로. 이나 다트 때서 pecha xiandala te chene te slop joma ji be ina ti kortak te skale kabore ina zokchen gi kapsu hi sayati neluk xegoro neluk te hidu neluk sayati joma mai ba ji xegoro ta joma mai ba tela pena samon ta bin jurwa tebya yo ba ji hibe ina te joma chanro ro tene sanji komponsaya de takba jurwa meba jigli shago gorwa te indu te sawon shawa na sawon ni nyugo means du tene jurwa temdo gorwa indu sanji devrishi binyingbo saya de yene rang la nebe ki rang hi takba temba shiwa yungdung ki rang hi temba yungdung se ji ka ko yong do
Yungdong di rang shi.
yungdung ta te indu telen jurwa tep to go mel shi ji ka sun jurwa yong go ma lam ji ka sun jurwa tep to ma re dew ka sun jurwa tep go ma wa te indu hilam de zong kang ka sun men jurwa tala tene tön tambe temba segure o te indu 다 tela samno panchi 제네 tene samno korko ina nga so simchen chor de yate kuzo gun chornon samjire mato tenyo la meba ha ko yoro ba indu yemenji chornon la de wri binimbo ngowote tön tambe dembate 통 토부겨 말했대 인도 또 만도나 좀 매바다 드리지고는 조교레스.
So then there arises the question, right? But then why do we wander in samsara? Why do beings wander in samsara if Buddhahood is already primordially perfected? And the answer is because it's not recognized as such. It's simply because there's not recognition. And so without having like a lot of understanding based on, say, like reading other scriptures and such, it is a little bit difficult to understand. But when we speak of the true nature of the ground in Dzogchen, this point of it being completely unaltered is very important because this example of a seed, saying it is like a seed, is in direct contradiction, because if it is unaltered, or if this true nature is primordially perfected, it's not subject to impermanence, it's unchanging. And so it can't be altered. And so if it's like a seed is not that way. A seed changes, a seed transforms, it grows into a sprout, and it is altered, it manifests impermanence, right? It starts from something and then it grows into something else. And so that contradicts that kind of unchanging, ever-present nature. And so the Tathagata Garbha, being primordially perfected, ever-present, stable, complete peace, the nature of complete peace, like a Yungdrung, or kind of the reality source, right? Yungdrung Dendati swastika, right? Yeah, which is the swastika, is like that. This is that. It is that nature that is unchanging, and so therefore, it never changes throughout the entirety of the ground path and fruition. And if it did, then it wouldn't be the nature of the ultimate truth. And so, but the reason why it isn't perceived as it is because of delusion, because of misunderstanding, because of non-recognition. And so delusion is only present from the perspective of the relative. So it is just the misunderstanding, the temporary delusion. Apart from that, there isn't any. It doesn't really have any meaning. It doesn't really exist. And so during the presence of delusion, then the ultimate, the truth of the meaning of the ultimate truth, the Buddha nature, can't be seen. It can't be perceived if there is delusion present.
Tene samno tangwaina chu tamchi tongba nyire segora. And tongba nyi seya zela sok da kato ye la soba tang. Tene ndu yi ji chu jik jam mevare. Tene ndu yena tene simchen chungo la ta nawanda manda. Nawaya yoga tela kuzub jitemba sane.
Oh, that's cool. So dujigi chu chikyam kare?
Tongba nyi seya tela nduji chu jik jong yo marwa. Tene tongba nyi seya de chu tamji ki nelu chag yorwa. Yina tene kuzub churving wala nawa seya tela. Yo mari te yina, tongla yo mari te yina nangu yora te yindu. Te tanga, rikpa chikpare devar chikpi nyingbo saya rang semje nilu re te yinayang inji meni tandarang hako goya tang tiki tenguma to goya ge jimsente yoba hik yo mares yoba hik yo mares hik
So,
Chu tamchi tongpani rawa. Te tongpani ina nga tsu karchi ne. De na lakon no tso de ware sana. Ti jumsente. Shenda ji kone lanja bondo te kan. Kuzub ki chulmo lende dan non de ware ma to tenli yo mare sayaji. Dan durna tongpani saya dang de ware shibi nyingbo saya te su. Tengda ji warwa.
And so then sometimes it's explained that, all the nature of all phenomena is emptiness. Emptiness is the true nature of all phenomena, meaning that, it doesn't, emptiness doesn't have a form, it doesn't have a color, it doesn't have a shape, and so forth, because all of those things mean that it's conditioned phenomena or compounded phenomena, but emptiness is the essence that pervades conditioned phenomena, but there isn't actually anything there. It is only the essence of emptiness. The true nature of all phenomena is emptiness. So then the question is, why?
Pena devar shikpi nyingbo. Saya de sanji yina. Ni simchen karchi nin churgi yores. Chwati yorwa. Ta tete jikwa. Tendi lamken tizugi karas sigi yores na. Chu tamchi tongbare sigi yore. Yina kuzub yina wadi yores. Nongadoks. Chomal nongarwa. Ti yindu Chu tamchi tongbayina karchina nongyorasana ti lanta. Ta kuzum chubingol nongire saya matutine yung ngone lanjab gona dalika borwa.
So then, still, the question becomes, well, then why? Why does all of this phenomena manifest? Or why is there the delusion of sentient beings? And so then, kind of the standard response becomes, all phenomena is the nature of emptiness, but because it is because of the relative truth, or only from the perspective of the relative truth that it appears, or that it manifests, that because of the confusion, the mind of delusion. So is somebody whispering? I'm getting a little distracted from
Do you
this.
hear
Okay.
something?
I'm hearing things.
Really?
Okay.
More?
Many. So the first question, Kempala, is...
You speak a little bit
Sure.
louder.
If it is already spontaneously present, then why do Nundro?
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I point out that the essence of Ngondo is try to recognize this. Do you
The
remember?
essence of Ngondro is to try to recognize this, you mean?
Yeah.
It's, the purpose is to actually...
Sem tu ni jimi namda de londi chuku tokbar hinjilos mende.
So just like it says, we
My mind,
retranslated
which
this
is,
verse or this line, but in the prayer, please bless me to realize the primordial purity of my mind as the Dharmakaya.
Tene ate tokbar hebala tab ni ma to yo maresmi huimba. Choksa treba chombe lakje tong tokden la mi shilap kona le tab hinda ma mambarchi. Te chosa ko kre treba jongo te mena
So the reason why we need Ngondro is because of what he also quoted a number of times during these teachings, which is that, as it is said, the only way to realize the ultimate nature is through two methods: gathering the accumulations and purifying the obscurations as one method, that's one method, and through the blessings of a realized spiritual teacher, or authentic spiritual teacher. And so for that reason, we have to do Ngondro, because that's the only method: gathering the accumulations and purifying obscurations and receiving the blessings of a qualified teacher.
Kempola, how do we understand the meaning of spontaneous presence?
Hlungi drupa hlundrup ha goa di gandhi hako tukure.
Yene yu deba, sard drum goba, till Lundrup
So that which is already present, you know, from the beginning or primordially or originally, there is nothing new to be created. So in that, that is the meaning of spontaneous presence.
Tanda so Ju Lama said Buddha nature text on the injikaps. Ju Lama tang dene shirching otogen abisamaya langa nongla na tseke chihu carriers and the yard charger chimbol jarnan digger, zokwa chimbol jarnan digger, kal jarnan digger, desongero. Dilla saria kiyame. Shakpar shawa kyungzi me, yonda nila yonda, da yonda hona number 2. Dila sarya kiyang me, shakpar shawa kyungzi me, shak means adding. Yangda nila yangda da, yangda thongna number 2, yangda thongsona then number 2. Tomato dil Dubore seni parme meva tonkoya yakore seni ya no me yakoya kan yo mares.
Also, the meaning of spontaneous presence is exemplified by a very famous quote in the Uttara Tantra, or the Uttara Tantra, and the Samaya Lankara, where it says, and this applies too to the meaning of Mahamudra and Dzogchen, there is nothing whatsoever to be cleared away or removed, and there is, and there is no fault whatsoever to be subtracted or nothing whatsoever to be added, right?
Yes, the good qualities, there's nothing
to be made better.
Yeah.
And nothing to be, no fault that is to remove. Look perfectly by looking perfectly at the perfect meaning, and perfectly seeing, you are perfectly liberated. I'm sure. Here we have Carl's translation. No, but I know we can James can access this quote for us.
Yeah, usually I have these few verses that we chant in the teachings. Many online, maybe no, but if there is any translation.
There is nothing to be removed. There is nothing to be removed in this, and not the slightest to be added. Actual reality is to be seen as it really is. Who sees this, or whosoever sees actual reality is liberated. Who sees actual reality is liberated.
What is essence of Buddhahood?
Yeah. I think we like to make some sort of positive quality that we attracted to. That's why it's Buddha nature qualities are all positive, I'm sure. But that doesn't necessarily mean is something that we can conceptualize. However, we are in a realm of conceptual world, so we cannot really go beyond concepts. That's why if some qualities we think about, that is it's mainly what Buddha's qualities should Buddha nature have, and then we say Tangpa, Tenpa, Hiwa, Yungdrung. All these are
So everlasting or permanent, stable, peaceful, Yungdong,
yes.
Svastika.
But that's a sign of. That is just sign of for Yungdong, the swastika.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah.
A symbol
Means in
for
Yurva
is this unchanging nature.
Yeah.
Next question, could you provide the Tibetan term for what is being translated as basic space and comment on what is being referred to?
Tibetan term?
The Tibetan term for basic space.
Basic space itself is yin, which is a little bit difficult to everyone. Every translator has difficulty on it. For me, yin has some sort of course, we like to make things that carry dharmic connotations, dharmic meaning. So yin, and not just basic space. Basic space, for me, I don't know, English speakers maybe have better sense of it. It sounds just basic space. It's
Yeah, if you're thinking of it literally, it feels really meaningless.
yeah.
Yeah. But somehow, I think for us, it started to mean more what it's meant to mean.
So that's why
Yeah.
I was thinking, once you can connect to basic space of phenomena as dharma dhatu, then it's no problem. But only basic space is kind of really
Misleading, yeah.
mediocre term that's not good enough to take
just
over
basic.
yin. But of course, my biased translation, I can choose expands, but that is also not really what we want. The yin has many meanings in Tibet and Sanskrit. So yin, Chu yin has something else, dharma dhatu, or just dhatu itself, something. So it's, if you can create that term that can, all samsara, nirvana, arise from there and subsume in there and never stray from there, that source never have any attributes. If you can create that in a term in English, that's good for me. But other than that, it's always have some difficulties in that.
You'll like this one. If we are already Buddha, so we have omniscient mind. One way omniscient mind is described is that which has no obscuration. So how can that which has no obscuration be obscured?
Exactly. That's what we. So that I think I could ask a very simple question. If there is nothing in a dream, why we have dream? The early we talk about everything's empty, then why? So that's either you think brainwashed by Buddhist philosophy or not, but that part we need to study a little bit deeper, and especially either we treat Nagarjuna as a great philosopher or not, but most of philosophers nowadays treat as Nagarjuna as a great philosopher. And without knowing interdependent origination, then seems emptiness is impossible. So if we don't have a little bit that kind of understanding of Buddhist world philosophy, of understanding of basic, what is emptiness, what is interdependent, or emptiness or appearances, then these two are, it's not in the same level. One is in ultimate level and one is in a conventional level. Yeah. Gujubtang todam ninte kakachi goya gujumsende karasana and tene and di gorla chiva tang tokpandere leba yindu tene gujubdo todam niki yewat che gogor. Gujubdo todam niki yewa chevar hivala ludrub ji hyong la ten gogor karasana tön tambala jik jong ma drop jong guzub nong or zamla tene tenjin ribi ke nawate lume to shar deba yinzu teni ji kowa des male bayina tene ki yore se du namba kundu yu goya da yo mare se du namba kundu me goya ta te ko songwa yina tene guzub todam nyingi ye watum che matobre te matobre yina tene kaduna Gangart Triggeris.
So this is where, really studying, for instance, Nagarjuna becomes important, because the need to make this distinction between the relative and the ultimate truth is precisely because of this question. That's why we have to separate them and present them as two. In, for instance, studying Nagarjuna, then, even though, so from the perspective of the ultimate truth, there's nothing whatsoever that exists. And yet, from the perspective of the relative truth, things arise based on, interdependent origination. And so, it isn't, and yet it doesn't fall into either extreme. There isn't an intrinsic existence to things. There's also not an intrinsic non-existence to things. And so, but it takes kind of understanding this in a deeper way, through, I think, study, right? To really arrive at a kind of definitive understanding on this point.
Yeah, at least what perspective they're talking about everything's empty, or what perspective that there's delusion, and due to the delusion how things arise. So these two are not in a sense talking through or talking on the same perspective. And so it's a little bit different, but I don't want to push that must study these, but at least for most Buddhist teachings are presented in this way. So without knowing that, then it's more challenge to read any text that would present in that way. Not only this sutric level, but in a tantric level and a dzogchen level, or are dealing with something in the nature is maybe being in a different way than a surface of appearance nature or appearance aspect that what we are dealing with. Any more?
Yeah, I guess. Same questioner. Does it mean we are already Buddha only from the perspective of the ultimate?
Yes, but then the ground teaching try to show us that we need to understand that, and also that's the whole purpose of the Buddhahood. Yeah, is we need to get there sooner or later. Until that, if we don't know, then our Buddhahood doesn't help. In Buddha nature text, it's talking about there's 7 examples how our Buddha nature is inside, but we are still suffer and in a samsara.
7 examples, yeah.
And also we sometimes treat samsara as a cozy place, so it's not too bad. Yeah.
A cozy place.
No?
Definitely. Thank you. Suffering is cozy.
Okay. Thank you so much. All the questions are wonderful, which I'm sure I cannot answer well, but that is how we learn in Buddhist universities and monasteries, centers, and so forth. So please read more books and try to find more aspects and more perspectives of others may present. Different lineage has a different way of introducing and way of explaining the nature and appearances and emptiness. So maybe if one tradition doesn't make fully sense, maybe other tradition could give more explanations. Okay, we still have a little bit of time, so we can read together first, and then if necessary, we can go through a little bit more. Tibetan is page 58 now, right after the chapter 7, English is 59. Tamche yenje rongyong yeshe la nisame bing ondo surde nino manga zali rwaisha nondani me shangchob semshe sha bonjo me be rikpa shangchob bonto me be nonsin kondesha Sunzi me be nanjong kala mela nonde yansen go boyjo non ha mila non anazoisha tomba mela tang chabarada sunzi mela ada sosoroshin shetsa mela terab jumarno there's another, I think, one line, next page. So here, these texts, you will see how Longchenpa sees this cozy samsara. Either you treat very roughly, and of course samsara is like an echo of in a cave. If you are louder, echo would be talk back to you louder. So we see how, if you treat gently, maybe it's better place. If you treat roughly, it's that's how come. So that's why I think these days people call rough neighborhood.
Say again?
Rough neighborhood.
Oh, a rough neighborhood.
Because
It becomes a rough neighborhood.
not only one person is rough there, but rough neighborhood, yeah. Means something, if you do something,
It comes back to
it
you.
comes back something,
Bounces off.
yeah. Okay.
So in English, on page 59, within naturally occurring timeless awareness, a single basic space, all things are present in such a way that they are in essence non-dual. Continuous dualistic perceptions arise as a display due to the dynamic energy of awareness. In what is called awakened mind, there is no duality of sensory appearances and what the mind imputes about them. Within enlightenment, awareness without transition or change, the universe of appearances and possibilities, whether of samsara or nirvana, arises with nothing to renounce or attain. In the experience of yogins who do not perceive things dualistically, the fact that things manifest without truly existing is so amazing they burst into laughter. Although sensory appearances do not exist, they manifest in all their variety. Although emptiness does not exist, it extends infinitely, reaching everywhere. Although dualistic perception does not exist, there is still fixation on things having individual identity. Although they have no basis, a continual succession of lifetimes manifests. Although nothing exists that can be refuted or proved, pleasure is accepted and pain is rejected.
Mm-hmm. So how beautiful it is. And without, I think, understanding of a little bit Buddhist philosophy foundation, it's a little bit difficult to see why it's amazing or burst into laughter, because here maybe this area is important, yeah, in the experience of yogins. 다 된다. 니스 되네. 지금 들려야지는 당보전 좀. Single basic space.
Single basic
All
space.
things are present in a such way that they are in essence non-dual. 니스 maybe 뭐 운동 소스. 당연히 되는 사람도 동바이나 니스 요 말했어. 니스 메서나 다당현. 데바 당마오바. 세 요르도 요르젠. 단도나 니스 가서 코르바나 니 매바이나 때네 걸어왔어. 자고 말와. 니 거걸와. 얘나 다 니스 매바테 뭐 그 뭐 그네 뭐마트다 니스 매바트래서. 얘나야 장첩샘 니스 매비 장첩샘 뭐 read 니노한테 망가봐. 그래서 수용고도 매봐. 하는 샤르바테야 짤레로 샤르바레 손다 적정기 좋게라 아 근데 누파텔레 근데 로바트 샤르요 말이스
So, as it says, within naturally occurring timeless awareness, a single basic space, all things are present in such a way that they are in essence non-dual. So, there is the ultimate meaning is that of non-duality, meaning that, you know, all of these concepts of duality, self and other, past and future, subject and object, there, you know, as samsara presents itself there, it's all duality. There's this duality. If there's not duality, there's not no samsara. So the essence itself is non-dual. There's non-duality in the essence. And the essence of the awakened mind is non-duality. And yet, because of the dynamic energy of the essence, there is, you know, these are using these Dzogchen terms, that this energy, from this energy, the entire display occurs or shines forth. So continuous dualistic perceptions arise as a display due to the dynamic energy of awareness. In what is called awakened mind, there is no duality of sensory appearances and what the mind imputes about them.
테네 렘베신도나 르바샹초그 셈 테네 아 논싱코르네 탐지 샤리용아레 제 샤와테 다시 뭐 네처테 텐리지레스 테 임바 난신기 난조바 시기 송와단 짐바 메바다나 니 추게 짐바 메바사다 니세나 송와단 짐바사나 요르요르쟁긴 짐바 메베 난조르지기 ngola 용 난거요레스 노아 태용 매 신도 나와레 마도 유 신도 나데바 마레스 대인도 베 얌semborela and kemo hyor goya tenderes
So then, you know, continuing as it goes, so the intrinsic awareness of awakened mind, within that, all the phenomena of appearance and possibility, samsara and nirvana manifests, but there's no real existence there. So a yogin who understands this meaning, who's without that subject-object duality fixation, they see the appearances manifesting, but they know that they don't actually exist. And in seeing that, it's extraordinary. All these things appear, but there's nothing really there. And then it actually becomes something to laugh at. The absurdity of it is laughable. It causes them to burst into laughter. So as it says, within enlightenment, awareness without transition or change, the universe of appearances and possibilities, whether of samsara or nirvana, arises with nothing to renounce or attain. In the experience of yogins who do not perceive things dualistically, the fact that things manifest without truly existing is so amazing, they burst into laughter.
Mm-hmm. And we read one more page. more our fantastic samsara. And if you are happy with that, then samsara treat you gently. Parti jendo no ansare che me den den bar shin be den den da man ton tur bar shin ben ton ton da nge ming e bar song yin da yi mi bar song yin da men ten te bar song win ten ten da na zo yoro chung yor ji sem chi ne tong me re ba ge ji ju man tu ni yan da wa lo tong me zen de ni me ni zo song yin do wa lu na jo ta pe sem la chor de be den yi me be re ba men dang zhan cong ju man dong da gong zhe jia bu a cha va lu ba yang ba cham da re nyam le ma yin tun sam chiu ri me tam chi jia yin cham cham van sam ta lu dang yor dang nong ye de me ba Nam pala yang nyam bara cham dar ve nong ge chu shi da dun zum ba me che ro nong vi yo la par de be tham chi san sing war war sang ma ta ra ra sa sa ti chu dong cha nong da ten re nyong zor ngar hi me de jirong yi nyom bi no ma lam no shi rong la kong po jo a da nian cha da nian de xie zhe nian zhen re me nyam bar cham ji bi mi tin zhen ma nan zin bin kro wa re song rang yong yi xi ngang xi me to be long dor bong nian se blen de bai de 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 na ni mi xi de rong yong gun de song bu gong ba re chi do bi ni mi se be sar chin to. Maybe stop here.
So then on page 61, at the second, or the paragraph, looking around, I find the perception of beings to be truly amazing. They fixate on what is not real as real, so that it certainly seems real. They fixate on confusion where there is no confusion, so that certainly seems to be confusion. They reify what is indeterminate as determinate, so that it certainly seems determinate. They reify what is not so as being so that it certainly seems so. They reify what is